John was always, to me, the most charismatic, shall we say. Paul was nice, always nice to people. But there's an old saying in my country, you have to live with people to know them. There is a very good side to Paul. There's a very nice side to Paul. I don't want to just talk to you about negative stuff, because he was very kind on many occasions. And I think maybe he was smoking a little too much pot or whatever. And plus the stress. None of us could ever know what that lifestyle must have been like. It was in November 64. And I'd had my birthday, which was the 14th, so it must have been about the 17th of November or something like that. We got married about a week later. And shortly after that, the telephone rang. Jim didn't have a phone in the lounge then, it was out in the hall. And he went out into the hall and I heard him say, "Oh, hello, son. Yes, she is. Yes, I have. Yes, we are. You know, is she there? Have you asked her? And is she going to? You know, are you going to marry her?" So Jim shouted, "Ange, come and speak to Paul." And that was, oh God, speak to the great Paul McCartney. You know, I just had one shock, deciding to get married again. Mm-hmm. So I went out in the hall and said hello to Paul, and he said, "Oh, hello, my dad's just told me the news. You sound nice, actually." That's who I am, I'm lovely. We were both absolutely covered in embarrassment. You know. So he said, "So are you staying the night?" I said, "Oh yes, Ruth's in bed." He said, "Okay, well I'll jump in the car and I'll be with you in about 3 or 4 hours. So of course that was time for me to pee my pants practically in anticipation. And then he drove up from London.
What time did he get there?
Oh, it was probably about 1 o'clock in the morning, I think. And when Jim knew he was imminent, he would always open the garage doors and the gates so Paul could drive right in.
Put the lights out.
You know, close the gates and come in through the back, in through the kitchen.
Were there fans out?
There weren't that particular night, as far as I know. But
until about 10 or 11, then they'd go home.
Yeah. And I was actually in the kitchen washing cups and saucers because Jim and I had had yet another pot of tea. It's what the English always do in emergencies. They always make tea or drink scotch. And Paul came in through the kitchen and was very sort of, you know the way he moves from one foot to another when he's nervous like that. Just, "Oh, hi, Aunt, nice to meet you." "Oh, hey, she's nice, isn't she, Dad?" Oh, God. So we all went in the lounge and sat down and sort of all talked at once. All three.
Was Mike there?
No, Mike was away. Mike was away with the scaffold doing a show somewhere.
Yeah, poor old Mike.
And yeah, we'll get to that later.